Hey Squishies, back again with another vlog. This is Gravity Falls Season 2, Episode 18, Weirdmageddon. And it lives up to the name. First thing I'm going to say is I'm a little disappointed that they did not rescue Mabel at the end of the episode, because that implies to me that they're rescuing her at the end of next episode, which implies the only part of the finale she's really going to be in is the last part. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd like to see a lot of her. I'd like to see, her maybe wanting to redeem herself for bringing Bill into the world, even though she really didn't. It wasn't her fault. But I could see her feeling some guilt over that and wanting to undo it. I could see her actually being the one to defeat Bill. Maybe that's how they resolve the splitting the twins up problem, is that Ford accepts them both as apprentices. But that's less likely, given that it looks like they're going to spend all of next episode trying to rescue her. Unless next episode is, like, her perspective or something. Like, she's having adventures of her own inside that bubble, and then they meet up together, maybe? I don't know. That seems unlikely. I liked that Dipper was able to, make peace with Gideon, because I did not realize this until now, and I feel silly for not realizing it until now, but Gideon is Dipper's shadow. Referring to the Jungian archetype. The figure, there's complicated stuff around the shadow. There's kind of two different shadows. Bill is the archetypal shadow in the series, but Gideon is Dipper's personal shadow. He is all the things that Dipper was in denial about himself. Gideon is selfish, greedy, in league with Bill, and tricked by him, possessive, controlling. These are all things that are kind of true of Dipper. In particular, the way Gideon looks at Mabel is really kind of equivalent to the way Dipper looked at Wendy, which now makes sense of why the road trip episode was where it was. There had to be that final shift in Dipper so that here he could make peace. Because the thing about your shadow archetype is, it's rooted in Jungian psychological ideas. Your shadow is the things you're in denial about yourself. It's your own dark side. That's a bit of an oversimplification, but I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. So you cannot actually defeat your shadow. Because your shadow is the things you reject about yourself, rejecting it makes it stronger. In fact, it's the act of rejecting our shadows in Jung's theory that actually causes, mental illness. Our defenses against our own shadows become neuroses, depression, that kind of thing. So what you actually have to do is confront, embrace, and make peace with your shadow. You have to accept, yes, these things are true about me, so that you can then either accept and integrate them, or take them as a starting point and grow through and past them. You cannot simply push them away. And I think Dipper, in the road trip episode, finally truly accepted he can be a selfish jerk where girls are concerned. And because of that, he's able to, instead of fighting his shadow in the form of Gideon, he realizes he has to reach out to him and help Gideon make the same jump, the same evolution that Dipper is already making. It's a great scene. it's not a redemption for Gideon by any means. What it is a redemption for Dipper. That Dipper truly understands and has internalized this need to let go. That he's able to say to Wendy, "You're the coolest person I know," without it being like the anxiety-ridden love confession type of thing. She's someone he knows, and she is incredibly cool. And he can accept and express that now without it being about him and his feelings. He can be calm about it. And the same thing with Gideon. He can say to Gideon, become someone who deserves to be loved. It's not redemption for Gideon, it's redemption for Dipper. Because I've talked about this in regards to Gravity Falls, in regards to Steven Universe and Lars. A redemption arc is not about forgiveness. And it's not about deserving. If you deserve to be redeemed, then you already have been. Because that's what redemption is. It's you were someone who didn't deserve it. You become someone who does. And at that point you are, regardless of whether or not people around you forgive you. It's something that Avatar: The Last Airbender executed really well with Zuko. It's something that Steven Universe seems to be starting to do with Lars, where he has come to recognize that he does not deserve. And so he is motivated to try to become someone who is deserving. And I think that's the arc that Dipper has taken, that he has grown and become someone. It's not like he committed any great crimes. He and Lars both were just kind of jerks. And jerks in one particular area. Dipper is normally a good kid. It's just this one area where he's got a blind spot. Like, even Lars is more of a jerk. And of course Zuko was actually, a straight up villain. So he gets to, he's, I think, really redeemed himself at this point, and therefore is in a position where he can say to Gideon, this is how you start on a redemption arc. And now Gideon is going to try to become someone who is deserving through this, dramatic act of saving the day, fighting the minions. That's not really enough for redemption. One dramatic act doesn't change who you are as a person. But it's a major step in the right direction. Just in general, this episode did a really good job of being really surreal. In particular, the opening credits were incredibly well done. The changes to the music, the visuals, that was perfect. That really set the tone for what followed. That everything has gone weird and bad, and Bill dominated. And the opening credits really showed that. And the rest of the episode, helped too. And helped put Dipper into this really bad position that by the end of the episode he's only just coming out of. I love Seuss as the handyman of the apocalypse. It's the perfect role for him. I love the suggestion that there are now folk songs about him. I hope we get to hear one. There's not a lot of time left, so probably not. But you never know. It's interesting that they had that little time skip in there. That Bill has now been ruling Gravity Falls for 3 days, and his weirdness has been expanding. I'm curious if there will be more of that time guy. The other time police are wiped out of existence by Bill, actually killed. The one guy whose name I can't remember, Darren or Daryl? Might have been Daryl. Still around, and is it just me? Or does he have the same voice actor as Dipper? I'm not certain. I've seen recently a little bit of Rick and Morty, And I know Morty's voice actor is the same as Dipper. And I can hear it now in Dipper's voice, but I hear even more similarity with the Time Guy's voice. So I'm wondering, is he the same voice actor? I don't know. Yeah. Mostly, though, this felt like part 2 of 4. We had the initial disaster. Now we have a look at how bad things are getting, but the band is starting to come back together. I think it's probably going to be like the 4 of them. Wendy, Mabel, Dipper, and Seuss against the apocalypse. Maybe Gruffle Stan will come in at the last minute and help with something. I'm hoping that they rescue Mabel fairly quickly and that Ford ends up being like the person they're trying to rescue. Yeah. It's just really good and I want to see more. But that's next month's videos. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye.